Horse stance. A horse stance is the most common stance used by Qigong practitioners and martial artists. The horse stance is used by martial artists to develop the root, center, and balance, as well as to strengthen the legs. For the non-martial Qigong practitioner, however, although routine is important, it is not as critical as it is for martial artists who need a strong root for fighting. In Qigong, routine is helpful in finding your center and balance, which in return lets you feel relaxed, natural, and comfortable. Since the martial arts horse stance is harder and is the basis for the non-martial horse stance, we will discuss it here. Once you understand it thoroughly, you might adjust it to fit your situation. There are many ways to stand in the horse stance. For example, the width of the feet in the horse stance used by Southern Chinese martial styles is narrower than the one used in Northern styles. This is because the Southern style emphasizes short-range fighting, and the wider stance is more open and dangerous in short-range technique. The situation is different for the Northern styles because they emphasize long-range techniques. A larger posture is more advantageous, so they use a much wider horse stance. You should understand that regardless of which style of horse stance is trained, the purpose, training principles, and theory remain the same. In the horse stance, both legs share your weight equally. In Qigong training, the width of the stance depends on your feeling. If you are standing too narrow or too wide, you will have an uncomfortable feeling. You should try different widths to see which one is most comfortable and natural for you. Remember, when you feel comfortable and natural, you will be able to relax and find your center and balance more easily. If you are training a martial arts horse stance, how high you stand depends upon the style. For Qigong practice, how high you stand depends on your feeling. For example, if you stand lower, your leg muscles will be more tense and it will be harder for the chi to flow to the bottom of your feet. If you stand too high, your center of gravity is higher and your root will be shallower and less stable. However, since the leg muscles are more relaxed, you can lead the chi to the bottom of your feet more easily. In Chinese internal martial styles, such as Tai Chi Chuan, when a beginner's chi cannot be efficiently directed to the bottom of the feet, the stance is lower. In this case, the beginner is able to lower his physical center of gravity to increase his reach. When, however, a Tai Chi practitioner has reached a high level, he will stand higher and keep the leg muscles relaxed, allowing the chi to the bottom of his feet. In Qigong horse stance training, the best way to build a firm root is to begin with a height at which you get the strongest feeling of pushing upward. In other words, try out different heights at each one pretend you are pushing a heavy object upward. At one particular height, you will feel that you can push upward more strongly. At this height, you can exert the strongest push upward, and it can therefore also exert the strongest push downward. In this downward pushing of your yu, it is this downward pushing of your yu that builds your root. If you keep practicing, you will eventually start to feel that your yi is leading your chi into the ground, and that your root is starting to grow. To root your body, you must imitate a tree and grow an invisible root beneath your feet. Naturally, your yi must grow first, because it is the yi which leads the chi. Your yi must be able to communicate with the ground in order to lift your chi beyond your feet and build the root. This means your gi must feel or sense the ground, noticing where it is soft or hard, how flat the ground is, how slippery it is. Try different ways of standing. Shift your weight on your feet and notice the ground. With practice, your knee will be able to sink farther into the ground, and you will be able to develop a strong root. The more you practice, the deeper the root will grow. After practicing for a period of time, you will start to stand higher in order to relax and the leg muscles more. In turn, this will help you to lift the chi to the bottom more effectively. The bubbling or cavity is the gate which enables your chi to communicate with the ground. There is one more thing to remember when you build your root. A tree's root is very strong because it has many branches and spreads out far to the sides. You must do the same thing and spread your roots to the sides as well as downward. Once you have built your roots, you can consider being centered and balanced. You can be centered physically and you can be centered mentally. When you are centered physically, a vertical line from your center of mass falls between your feet, so your root comfortably supports your weight. Being centered mentally is a matter of feeling. If you are mentally centered, you can be physically balanced even when you are not physically centered. An example of this is the person who cannot be pushed over even when he is standing in a very awkward position. When you start practicing, stand so that you are physically centered and have a good root, and be centered mentally in the same way. After a while, change your stance slightly so that your physical stance becomes less centered and less stable, and practice maintaining your balance and stability mentally. Remember, if you are not centered physically or mentally, you will not be able to maintain your balance. The degree to which your physical body center can be separated from the mind center without losing balance depends on how you stand. Generally speaking, it depends on how wide you build your roots. For example, if you stand low with a firm root, your body's center can be moved in the space between the two roots, built by your feet. If you stand higher, the width is narrower, and the circle of movement you can allow your body will be smaller. A highly skilled martial artist can defend himself even in a high narrow stance. His range of movement is limited, but if he has strong chi, he will be able to build a strong root. And if his technique is good enough, he will be able to fight effectively. Remember, in order to reach this stage, you must start with low, wide stance, and gradually narrow and raise it. The Chinese have a proverb, Yang Gao Shu Di, which means eyes are high and the hands are low. This scoffs at those who keep dreaming of high levels of mastery while they are still at a very low level. The final goal in developing your root is to make your stance like a mountain. Your stance must be wide and firm, and you must also train your chi to cover your body and spread out as it goes down to the ground. Your mental image of yourself and your chi should be shaped like a mountain or a cone, narrow on the top and wide on the bottom. Once you can do this, it will be extremely difficult for anyone to push you or even make you lose your balance. In this stance, you are a rear leg push. Bow and arrow stance or mountain climbing stance. The bow and arrow stance is another common stance used by both martial artists and non-martial artists. Generally speaking, this stance is harder than the horse stance, because the weight of the body is not divided evenly. Therefore, the mind is also uneven. The bow and arrow stance is commonly used in moving and in exerting force forward. Normally, the front leg is used to stabilize the body and the rear leg is used to generate the forward power. In this stance, as your rear leg pushes your body forward, you must keep your body straight up in order to keep your center in balance. Sometimes the body can lean forward slightly, in which case, however, you must keep your mind at the original center or you will easily lose your balance. In this stance, the trick of the building the root lies in keeping the center and balance just as you did in the horse stance. Your root must be firm, deep, and wide. Again, your body must be low so you can build a foundation like a mountain. Finally, your mental and physical centers must actively adjust with each other to keep the body steady. Once you have built your root and stability, there is a very common exercise you can do to test and strengthen them. You and your partner face each other in a bow and arrow stance, then your strength, clasp your leading arms and try to embrace each other. This practice will help you to build your root, to coordinate your mental and physical centers to build your own mountain, and finally, to root, to coordinate your mental and physical centers to build your own mountain, and finally, to destroy the root of your partner. If you continue this practice, you will find that in order to win, you must stand low. Your body must be very soft to keep your partner from finding your center and root. When your body is tense, he can locate your center easily and destroy your balance. In addition, you must also learn how to feel and sense your partner's center. Once your mind and power are able to reach his center, you will be able to dislodge his root.